Hello, my rock world. I'm very happy and proud to be here with Mike Tramp, legendary Mike Tramp from, you know him very well from White Line.
Yes.
Here in Augsburg, having an exclusive interview. Welcome to my rock world, Mike.
Dankeschön. Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Shall we do it in German?
We'll do it. I might throw a few words in here and there when it's needed, like Currywurst. That can't be translated.
Okay. Currywurst, it's general.
Well, let's talk serious rock and roll.
Mike, there's a new album out. Let's start with this one, called Mabye Tomorrow. Please tell us something about this album. How did the songs came together, and what's your favorite song, maybe? And tell us everything.
I'm actually sitting looking at. Did you? How come I signed it to you? Where did you? You know, did it?
That's a secret.
Well, I mean, this is the fourth album out of 10 solo albums. I know this is going to sound a little confusing, but I had a little bit of a vacation in the middle of the last 20 years. And when I finally got going in 2011, and I started with the Cobblestone Street album, and then came the Museum, and then came the Nomad, and then finally came Mabye Tomorrow. Those four albums sort of have a connection to each other. They're like steps, where each step has led to the next album. This is a full band album, and the reason I'm saying this is a full band album is because Cobblestone Street was basically a semi-acoustic album. And it was myself working back to the sound and the direction of Mike Tramp. All my songs, regardless if they're from White Lion or my many solo albums, are basically written in the same way. So it's sort of almost, it's just really about how do they end up in the final version. All the songs are written with the acoustic guitar in the couch, and establishing the song as a sing-along song, a song that would work fine just by itself.
Yep.
And in reality, that is the sound of Mike Tramp. And I made it a point. I sort of would like to be like an item in your refrigerator, that when you go for that item, you know exactly what you're getting. That could be senf, that could be ketchup, that could be milk. But when you grab the milk, it's not going to taste like senf. So I just want Mike Tramp to be in the rock collection of people's rock collection. I want it to be something specific that when you feel like you want to hear this kind, you reach for that.
Yeah.
Which is why my music should never be reviewed as anything but a continuation of a new Mike Tramp album.
So, what about the album title, Mabye Tomorrow? Is there a special meaning on this one?
Yeah, well, yes and no. Since I recorded my first solo album in 1997, and now my 10th solo album, the dedicated fans know that there is a line in the lyrics of this man that sets out on a journey, and that journey is called life. And that's what I sing about. And I always make it possible for the fans or the listener to be the person in the song and make the song their song. So there's many meanings of the song. I, of course, have my personal meaning about it. But you could put yourself in the song and say, this song is about me. And that's what I want my music to be.
Okay. So do you see Mike Tramp tomorrow?
And of course, maybe tomorrow is that. Maybe tomorrow that final answer would be there, because I call my life the endless highway.
Okay.
So you come down the Autobahn, and there's viele Ausfahrt, and you just keep driving, and maybe tomorrow your Ausfahrt will be there, where all the things are, and if not, you continue, and the continuation will be the next album.
Okay, so
makes sense?
Makes sense, fully. So do you have any favorite song on this one?
Well, yes and no. I mean, there are favorite songs to play live, and then there's favorite songs that have deeper meanings. So you could basically jump from the first song, which is my favorite song to play live, Coming Home. That is the big song that explains everything. And then you can end the album with another epic called Mabye Tomorrow.
Yeah. How long did the recording session took? Was it recorded fully live, or?
I mean, these days, I mean, these days it's a different world than when White Line was recording back in the 80s, and we went into the big studios, and we spent weeks and months, working on the songs and things like this. I walk into the studio basically with a final album, and then I have the band come in and copy that and play that. So this album is recorded in a week.
That's awesome.
But that's also because of the preparation.
Yep.
Because there ain't the money anymore to spend a lot of time. Yep. There ain't the time. So that's fine. And we have the tools at home to sit and work on that.
Okay. That's great.
And I only have to ask myself, this is my songs.
Okay. So what can we expect then from the show tonight? How many songs of the new album will you play, and what is in the set list? Just two? Why two?
Don't forget that in my career I've toured with the greatest bands in the world.
Yes.
And I've learned that the live show is not a record. A live show is a party. Yeah. A live show is a gathering of people that are coming there to celebrate the life of the artist. So, and because I've been in two other bands that people know, White Line and Freak of Nature, it's important that I mix those songs with my 10 solo albums. And I actually feel like I'm a unique artist in the way, and now the fans are complimenting me on it, that I'm able to mix the White Lion and Freak of Nature songs with my solo albums, and it all sounds sort of the same. And that is because it's the same songwriter.
Yeah.
And I have evolved. I am Mike Tramp, 2018, 57 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm not Mike Tramp, 1988, 27 years old. And I know there's a lot of artists out there who's trying to sound and be the same they were 30 years ago. That's impossible.
Okay.
And I'm very happy with where I am because I want to be who I am today up on stage, not somebody I was 30 years ago.
Okay. Are there any plans to record a live show maybe for an upcoming live album release?
It's not necessarily that I have a live album in mind. We are recording because we have the technology to record the shows easily. A lot of the fans like these new versions of White Lion songs.
Me too.
And in that way, that could be that kind of album, but in reality also, releasing an album today, I mean, the market is so small, but it could easily be done.
Okay, because a live album is after 10 studio albums, it's overdue. It's overdue. Okay, some general questions. Who were your heroes starting out playing music? I can see this Phil Lynott tattoo here on the vinyl.
If you looked a little harder there, you can't really see that. That's Bob Dylan.
Ah, okay.
I grew up in a house where my mom played Bob Dylan and Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash and Roy Orbison. That's my earliest, remembering of music and songs. There have been artists that have been with me all through my life. Later on came a little bit more of the structure of songs and the look. So if you take, for example, AC/DC, and if you take Van Halen.
Yep.
Van Halen became an inspiration of how to be on stage and stuff like that, but it never had anything to do with my songwriting. AC/DC has a foundation of structure, of a solid beat and stuff like that a lot of my songs in demo stages has a foundation of AC/DC. But my songwriting comes from Dylan and Springsteen and Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley and those kind of things.
Okay, so what about Phil Lynott? What do you like?
Well, I mean, you mentioned that, and I forgot to say that. So obviously, Thin Lizzy and Phil Lynott came into my life earlier on, and one of the things that I like about Phil Lynott was his lyrics and his poems. And also, he was a rock singer that wasn't necessarily screaming. He just had something different. Yeah. And as the many years have provided us with knowledge and books about Phil Lynott and documentaries, he was much of an Irish, folk singer as a, in the background of this rock band, and that's how he brought the songs in. So obviously I see a lot of similarity there.
That's right. Have you ever met him?
I did not meet him, no.
Okay. Tell us a secret, or maybe a funny turbo secret that nobody knows. A secret of yourself, or about White Line, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what you call a trick question. I've never had one of those. I think that a lot of people, because they've seen so many pictures of you up on stage, stuff like that, then of course it builds an image of how you are as a person. And then when they see me both on stage but also off stage, they realize that I am such a simple and open kind of person. And so the secret would be that I'm just like you.
Okay.
I just happen to be called Mike Tramp.
That's great. Okay. So, simple Mike Tramp. Let's go a little bit back in time. I need to do this. I have a bag of surprises here. I'd like to...
But, somehow...
I will put out
of my eye, I caught something.
I put out something.
The secret, another secret of Mike Tramp is like, I know everything.
Okay. I would like to put out something of my bag, and I would like you to tell us something about this period, and maybe this band, maybe you remember a little bit of... I have this one here.
That's not me.
That's not you?
No, I don't like that.
You don't like it?
No.
Why not?
You see, when people become famous, and then once in a while they take pictures from how they were in school. The pictures you took in school, you were just a kid in school, and you don't know. I got into this band when I was just 15 and a half years old. 15 and a half.
Okay.
I hadn't even finished school, and I had no plan of ever become a musician, a singer, or in a rock band or anything like that. And then I left school and I stayed with this band. And what you could maybe say is that I did all my learning and my mistakes in front of the camera. A lot of people get to do that before they actually go out on stage. So I did all the learning and the mistakes and the change, in front of the camera, which is basically, so it's documented, which is why you can pull this out. So when you look back, you just go, wow. And many times I compare it to that you have all these talent shows today where people go in and they're 14 years old and they're well prepared, because there's been people like me, who's made all the mistakes, so people can learn from that. So that's what that is.
Okay.
But without this, I wouldn't be here today.
But it's a part of you.
It is part,
I have another one. I would like to... These days, it's a pre-White Line or something. No one knows it, I think, at this time.
What happened at this band called Mabel, when we eventually ended up living in Spain,
what happened?
I basically killed the band and started the same band over again with a new sound. And now I had become 19.
Okay.
And I was writing all the songs, and I was steering the band in a different direction. And I said, you know what, we're going to start fresh.
But this was already a rock album.
So this is a rock album. This is the album that arrives in New York in 1982.
Okay.
Except for that on the way over, we had changed the name to Lion, because the year earlier, I had met Van Halen. I'd met David Lee Roth.
Okay.
And I was so proud when I handed him this album.
You gave him a copy of this one?
I had a lot of copies with him. So he's sitting in his hotel room in Spain, and I'm together with him. And he goes, "Studs, that ain't gonna work in America. They'll think you're the New Village People."
Okay.
And it took, because as you can see, these are the studs in the leather jackets.
Yeah.
But the word studs in America is basically like a porno star.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so as we arrived in New York, this band was called Lion.
Okay.
And these 10 songs on this album became the first songs I played with Vito Bratta when I started writing.
Oh, really?
When I started. These were the songs we played until him and I started writing the songs together.
That's awesome. And then the rest is legendary.
The rest is history.
And
I can't believe you have almost everybody's. Yes, you have everybody's autograph.
I think we have it all here. So let's do a little bit of music history here. let's go for music history.
Fight to Survive.
Which one was next? I think it was this one here.
Yes, and you only got two there.
And this one.
The main attraction.
Which one is your favorite? Do you have any favorite? My own favorite is the Fight to Survive because it's
well, there's a lot of different.
Sounds so much rough.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, there's a little story here for your listeners, and I mostly probably will tell that story tonight too. So,
okay.
But be surprised tonight when I tell it. Okay.
I will
laugh.
I will laugh.
Because after we had written the songs for Fight to Survive at the end of '83. We sit down with our manager, and our manager says it's important that you really concentrate on your first album. So I want to send you away from New York City, where the band was from. And I come up with two choices. You can either go to the Bahamas, and the second he said the Bahamas, I says, why do we need number two? You know, the Bahamas was a Compass Point studio, AC/DC Back in Black, Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. Okay, it spoke for itself. And I thought to myself, I'm just going to sit there in the sun and drink margaritas and flirt with girls. And then once in a while I'm going to sing. But then Vito goes, what is choices number two? And then he says, Frankfurt, Germany. And I go, mein lieber Gott, ich bin aus Dänemark. Ich habe viel Zeit in Frankfurt. You know. But the three Americans voted me out. I said, that sounds very exotic, Frankfurt. I said, Scheiße. So in January of 1984, you know, we land in Frankfurt Airport, and I'm looking out the window, and it's just fucking raining and gray. And I says, Vito, look, you know, guck mal out dem Fenster. That means look out the window. I says, from a scale from 1 to 10, how gray is this? He says, it looks like 50 Shades of Grey. And then we come out, and you know, there's a guy picking us up, standing with a sign says, White Tiger.
Oh my goodness.
And we get in the car, and then we sit in the back, and we start talking, and we we saw Frankfurt. He says, you're not going to Frankfurt, you're going to Offenbach. And this is the story goes basically. Offenbach is like New Jersey. You think you're playing New York, but then you're basing it up in New Jersey. So we end up in a studio in Offenbach with nothing to do but record a very dark album. This is not a glam album. You should not put this album in the same category as Poison or Rat or anybody.
Totally different.
This is the darkest white line there exists.
And I think also it's much more sounding like your solo stuff now these days, because it's much more rougher. Yeah.
We were cut off from the business and from the world or anything. There was no internet. There was no DVDs. There was nothing for us to keep in touch. We were just in a studio recording this album.
So I will pick this as my favorite white line. Which one would you pick for yourself as the favorite?
Well, the Pride album is my favorite album because it is a time when the band is the band. Because already after the success of the Pride album, we start, basically because of the success and also the money when we record the Big Game album. I'll probably tell a little bit of a story tonight on stage. We start drifting a little bit apart. Where when we recorded the Pride album, we were living in one apartment in Los Angeles while we were recording it. When we were recording this, we were living in 4 different houses. And this is just the way it is. Of course there's a lot of different things, and the Big Game album came too quick after we finished. Even though it didn't come too quick, because it's basically almost coming 2 years later. But to us, we had been on tour for 2 years almost. And this is a complete album, but this is sort of what Vito and I almost call our rescue mission.
Okay.
If this had come in '89, it would have been a massive album.
Okay. Mike, thank you very much for this interview. We need to come to an end because 20 minutes is enough.
20 minutes is long, man.
Okay, we are looking very forward to the concert tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you much. At least some words to the fans, please.
Yeah, I will just say thank you very much. I am totally honored that when I come out on stage and I see you guys out there, that some of you guys have been with me for 30 years. I am very honored and proud.
And take a listen to the new record because it's absolutely awesome. And it's out on vinyl. Vinyl is the best way to listen to music.
Yeah, basically you're holding a sold out copy. They don't exist on vinyl.
You need to do a second.
I know.
Okay, thank you very much.